News that is available to us today. You know, this is probably not just news, but our stupid life in which we live. The State Duma is busy determining whether Cheburashka is circumcised. What nationality is Cheburashka? I thought he was sold to Japan. And Russia no longer has rights on Cheburashka. But perhaps something new is emerging. Or maybe it's just out of boredom. People start to figure out what kind of privates Cheburashka has, whether he's circumcised or not. But you know, this is what happens when a country is on the verge, right on the brink of an emotional collapse, when the country is impoverished, when everyone has scattered, and the half that remains doesn't know what to do or what state they'll be living in next. Everyone is expecting only the worst, and the State Duma is arguing about whether Cheburashka is circumcised. They would be happy to classify Cheburashka as belonging to the Jewish nation. But it's hard to prove. That's what they're writing. Yes, the Israeli Consulate General in St. Petersburg commented on the theory of Cheburashka's Jewish origin. Cheburashka needs to be checked for circumcision to be definitively classified as Jewish, the Consul General stated. Of Israel in St. Petersburg. What, are there no uncircumcised Jews? There are. And quite a few, actually. But for some reason, that's what they decided about Cheburashka. Because as it turns out, he arrived in a crate of oranges from Israel. What nonsense, right? But this is the life we live. This is what makes us think. But why should we even be thinking about whether Cheburashka is circumcised or not? Well, it's just not comparable. These are the thoughts in the heads of a hungry people who don't know what to do next. Should men crawl across the border on their bellies or not, because mobilization could break out at any moment? The kind of mobilization that will take everyone, and then they'll start drafting women too. They've robbed the population, completely robbed them. Now they're selling off the resources, whatever's left. All these mullahs are selling off Russian resources. But it turns out these are their resources, they're selling what's theirs. No, not Russia's. Russia has never belonged to the people. It turns out those were just empty words about Russians, just so they could hope, think, and rejoice, believing they were so rich, so wealthy. So they could shout to the whole world about their wealth while living without toilets, without gas, with filthy bathrooms, and not having money for anything except vodka. And next, Russians will realistically have to earn more than 230,000 rubles every single month. You would actually need to earn that substantial amount for 26 long years in order to finally retire comfortably. Analysts have carefully calculated it at precisely 45,000. So it turns out you diligently earn 230,000 a month for a substantial 26 years, and then you ultimately retire with completely empty pockets. What is that? 45 compared to 230, right? It means nothing to the ruble. It's just a rip-off. But that's why they take it away. Is this the first time or something tranches are leaving our pension fund, going somewhere to London, somewhere to Britain? And then after the fact, as soon as they've left, everyone starts complaining. But how did the FSB let them go? And how could they have transferred some 283 billion rubles? Well, that's how they just could. What can I tell you? Well, what can I tell you about Sakhalin? Yes, friends, the Ministry of Internal Affairs has shut down 2 Telegram channels through which scammers used more than 1,000 accounts daily to deceive Russians. And now you'll laugh. The detained administrators are 16 and 18 years old. Is this a joke on the people or what? Anyone can deceive. Only 16-year-olds, those you can't put in jail, or the ones you can just send straight to war, right? It's kind of funny, really. Funny. No one else deceives people here, only 16-year-olds. Meanwhile, banks are warning about the rapid approach of a global crisis. Deutsche Bank has recorded a growing gap between the debt market and the stock market. Such an imbalance usually appears before major upheavals. But are we all really waiting for it? War. Is the entire population of the world waiting for war? Because this is being imposed, it's being forced on us. And the fact that thoughts are being imposed, yes, these thoughts are being forced on everyone, on all of us. These are our thoughts, yours and mine. And if you don't want to think about it, they'll make you think about war. In Stavropol, doctors have been forbidden to inform patients about abortions when fetal abnormalities are detected. Fetal abnormalities. How is that even possible? So, a person has a fetal abnormality, but now, only obstetricians, gynecologists, neonatologists, and geneticists are allowed to provide such information. Medical staff are forbidden from pressuring patients to give up their child and from using subjective wording. Patients must be given gentle explanations and provided with free psychological support. Institutions are required to monitor cases where diagnostics could lead to a social rejection of the newborn. And this, seems similar to those dog breeding incidents that happened once in Samara, remember? Back in Samara, this was in the 1920s, 1926, 1927, 1925. At that time in Samara, there were forced exiles, and a whole regiment of monkeys was brought in, and women were forced to have intercourse with them. Those were the kinds of exiles. The women refused. That's why the first nurseries appeared. Kindergartens, later naturally. Since there were nurseries, then came kindergartens, and then orphanages. Because women did not want to have children from the monkey regiment who, well, it's simple. They brought in a regiment of monkeys who raped women. But to distract us from such situations, they give us other news. Voila, a man from St. Petersburg stole 31 chocolate bars worth 6,000 rubles from a store. And as he admitted to the police, he ate them all by himself. Well, it's just like in blockaded Leningrad. The guy just wanted to eat some chocolate, but he didn't have any. So he went and stole some. He swiped one somewhere and then ended up warming 10 more in his pocket. Because he had no money. What on earth is going on, huh? Why don't people have money even for a chocolate bar? I mean, it would be one thing if he stole something serious. But a chocolate bar, no money. That's the situation in our country now, when no one has money for anything anymore. We'll just end up laughing at each other, mocking each other. And we'll laugh about the circumcised Cheburashka too, about whatever little thing he's got sticking out, circumcised or not, and the consul general even talks about Israel now. Nonsense. Today is December 8th.